now entering the Horror Sanctum.
Hello, and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ. This week we're traveling back to 1981 to discuss the 1981 slasher, The Prowler, directed by Joseph Zito, and with great practical effects by the great Tom Savini. This may not be a movie that you're particularly familiar with. It is on Tubi if you want to go check it out. If not, here we go. A crazed World War II veteran gets revenge on his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend, then stalks teens 35 years later. And 45 years later, spoilers.
This is an entire slasher movie based on a Dear John letter. That's the entire movie. Or, as they say in Dumb and Dumber, a John Deere letter. When he's like, yeah, she said something about I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to it. Yeah, this movie, it's very, very basic. It's early in the slasher genre. It's 1981, but it looks like it's probably made 1980. All slasher movies have this basis, the whole revenge gone too far premise. I think this is the only one I've ever seen that does a 1940s time jump, though. That's probably unique about it. It starts in the 40s. It jumps to 80, 81. I do like that in this movie, and a lot of older movies like this, like slasher films, when they do flashbacks, they actually show people as being real pieces of shit and not these like, gee golly, come on, sweetheart, wonderful life characters. Like, they're actually probably the way they were. So they're sleazy even back then, right? And I do enjoy that they kind of are honest about that versus the way we kind of see classic Hollywood movies portray that stuff. I mean, this movie, it's really just about the kills. That's kind of the whole thing. It's a Tom Savini special effects reel, right? That's what this movie really is. The story is very basic, but it's all about the kills. I did want to bring this up because I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about this with the other movie we're going to talk about. This movie was made around 1980. It's like, so it came out 81, was made around 1980. If you think about that timeline of 1980, there were so many slasher movies being made that year. So many. Like, it's insane to think about how many movies were being made in like a short period of a window in like Jersey, California, New York, all these places. And a lot of them are just classics. And it's just weird to think existing in that time period, and all these people have this same idea. They're all on this one idea of like a slasher. They're all doing this same thing for like 2 or 3 months, and they're just like trying to figure out a way to do their own version of it. And they're competing with each other, and like one's doing this one, and then like maybe 300 miles down the road, the other one's doing this one. I don't know. I think about that, and I'm like, has that ever been done in history with movies? A time period where everybody's making the same movie at the same time like that? I don't know.
Maybe early 2000s.
Yeah, maybe early 2000s. It's just such a fascinating thing to think everybody
when
had the
everybody
same
wanted
thing,
to rip
you know?
off the Blair Witch, there was that 2 or 3 years where everybody was trying to do a found footage thing.
I'm sorry, Kellen, did you just take a shot out of a flask?
Well, yes, I did.
Oh shit!
He's become my old uncle.
He's got a drink to get through these 2 episodes.
I realized that was my third one. I realized I was like, there's not a lot in here, so let me just. And then I was like, oh, there's still a little more. And then I was like, oh, there's still a little more. And then I realized on camera I look like a raging alcoholic. So
And then I realized it was totally full when I started.
Wow, this is the Prowler alcoholic edition now.
Funny.
I think you either like this style of filmmaking or don't. It's early 80s slashers. You're either with it or you aren't. It can be kind of boring to a lot of people. They kind of give it away in a sort of early in that the sheriff, who, spoilers, the sheriff is the killer. He leaves early in the movie to go on a fishing trip. They keep selling this fishing trip. I never noticed that rewatching it. They sell the hell out of this fishing trip over and over. I got to go on this fishing trip. I got to go on this fishing trip. And it's like now when you rewatch it, it's like, okay, buddy, we get it. You're the killer. You got to get out of town. You got to have a reason not to be around. Now, why is he the killer at the end? Why is he killing all these people because of a Dear John letter? I guess he's just crazy. They really don't explain that. I mean, the movie is creepy and there's good kills, but the reveal at the end is so brief. You're just like, it takes a second to be like, oh, that's the sheriff guy, and then
To the
you're
point,
just
I looked it up. Why? Because I was like, wait a minute. 'Cause
I
it took so
assumed it
long.
was something like with My Bloody Valentine, where they hadn't had a dance like that in years, and then having
maybe
it
you lost it.
again
Well,
set him
so
off.
the Googles says that the killer's motivation stems from deep-seated rage, jealousy, and war-induced PTSD. Sheriff George Fraser, spoilers, revealed to be the true killer, murders young couples to reenact the 1945 killing of his ex-girlfriend Rosemary, who left him for another man while he was serving in World War II. It also there's like no justification for why he waited 35 fucking years
Right.
to do it.
So were they having a dance every year, all those
Yeah,
35 years?
they were still doing the dance. He was just
Okay, that makes no sense.
He's just going on a
prowling?
fishing trip every year. Yeah.
prowling on them fish.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it is a slow build. The kills I think make it worth it. Like the one where the guy gets stabbed through the neck and his eyeballs turn white. I thought that was pretty creepy.
But then that guy is still alive at the end of the movie, which is totally impossible.
Well, it's like
Unless that's like a Jason at the end of Friday 13th type thing.
I don't think he's really alive.
Technically, as a nurse, if he got him right in the middle of the head, there's a possibility that it just missed both lobes and went straight through.
Just cut off the hemispheres.
And people have lived like that. Just playing devil's advocate, but
I mean, I guess he could be alive. I think it was like more of like a jump scare type thing, but it makes you wonder. I mean, he's sitting there just, the whole time in the shower. I'd imagine in 1981, this was some crazy shit to see in the theater. Because I know we're sort of, we see Terrifier, all this shit now, but for 1981, this was some wild stuff to see. Like that pool kill where the girl's getting her throat slit. I rewatched that over and over. And to this day, it's hard to like see the gag of that. Obviously, she's wearing a prosthetic, but when you just watch it, like I'm like, fuck, man, that's one of the most realistic looking kills.
I did the same thing because I was looking at depth, and it looked like he was really cutting her throat. Whoever did the prosthetic for that did fantastic, but I'm guessing.
Oh, Tom Savini.
Yeah, Tom Savini.
I think it was a combination of a prosthetic neck with a bladder device underneath it, but I think it was probably also a trick knife that had a little blood trickle too to just double sell it.
Yeah, it's very, you don't see like in Friday Part 1 when you see the girl getting the throat slit on the tree, you can see the outer paint.
Yeah.
On this one you can't, but yeah, there's a lot of great kills in this movie. I think it's funny at the ending though when he reveals himself and then the crazy random balding guy saves her and shoots him with the shotgun, and they just stand there and just kind of like look at each other for like 30 seconds. I'm like, well, this is weird as shit, but that was a weird moment in the movie. I think, it's suspenseful, it's slow, but I do enjoy it. There's a lot of things in the movie that don't make sense, like the sheriff or the deputy when she goes to the girl's room and he's going to open the door and then he doesn't and he decides to go to the other guy's house. It's like, why would he not open the door to check? It's like, why would he leave that door locked? Just like there's a scene where the girl, where the pool scene, where there's the girl walking outside and there's blood in the pool and she's looking around and it takes her like 5 minutes to see that there's fucking blood all in the pool. And you would think that would be like immediate, but overall, I do like it. I don't think it's like a top 5 slasher for me, but I think it's really good. I own the movie. I enjoy it. I watch it every now and then. So it's a win for me. I'm sure it's not going to be a win for everybody though. So I want to hear.
Well, John's the resident 80s slasher lover of the crew, but I too like a lot of 80s slashers. I first discovered this one when I believe it was a Blue Underground special edition DVD come out in like 2003. And it was at the time where I was first really getting into DVDs and I was getting everything that looked cool or weird on Best Buy, basically just prowling through Best Buy every weekend, wasting my money. So I got this probably in 2003, 2004. So it's been over 20 years since I first watched it. I've owned that DVD two separate occasions because I got it from McKay's a few years ago, and then I traded it back to McKay's. I've never owned the Blu-ray. Um, but I probably watched this movie maybe 4 times. I think this is probably about my fourth time watching it. And what's funny was I think I'd spent enough years in between watching it. The first 2 or 3 times I watched it, I forgot who the killer was until the end, and I like got the surprise again. This time I remembered. I'd seen it enough times to remember, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the guy taking the fishing trip, the fishing trip, which we all knew in 1981 slang was, uh, double entendre for go kill everyone. So 1981 was a fun time for slashers, just like John was saying. Like after the 1-2 punch of Halloween, and then probably the greatest ripoff of Halloween, the first Friday the 13th film come along. Literally after that one proved the concept that, oh, you can just put a title together with a masked killer or just an unknown killer, and they didn't even have the idea of like franchising the specific weapon at that point in time. Those early slashers, they were just using every kind of thing, which I think for people like Tom Savini, Greg Nicotero, the special effects wizards out there, the Rick Bakers of the world, they were probably loving that they got to play with a lot of different types of gags and weapons and stuff in those early slashers. But like from 1979 to 81, maybe 82, that was like the Wild West of what I would call the first wave of the slasher craze, which almost every one of them, with a few exceptions, kind of had this Agatha Christie whodunit kind of aspect to it, because they were almost all of them were one-offs until Halloween and Friday the 13th started making sequels. Then you had to franchise the idea of having a single killer that comes back. But I mean, Friday the 13th didn't even start that way because, they had Mrs. Voorhees. There was no concept of a Jason. In fact, when they wanted to make a sequel, people were like, how are you going to make a sequel? That's why Tom Savini refused to do the sequel. And then he didn't come back until Friday the 13th final chapter, final chapter in 1984, the fourth one out of like, was there a dozen now? Because he wanted to kill Jason off, the his creature that he created, the little boy, for number one. Oddly enough, Joseph Zito, the director of this film, is probably best known for directing that film, Friday the 13th, the final chapter in 1984. And then he did a 1-2 punch of a couple classic Chuck Norris movies before fading into the sunset, basically. Invasion USA and the first Mission and Missing in Action film, some canon classics. So this guy's had a Hall of Fame drive-in 80s film director career. But the thing I like about this film is it was firmly rooted in the middle of that. It's a mystery. It's a whodunit. We're trying to see the unfolding of who's doing the killings, why they're doing the killings, and maybe now that we've talked about the payoff of the why, yeah, we understand he went through some PTSD, some trauma. He had a girl that left him, and then he did these murders 35 years ago or whatever. But if they just kept having those dances, I don't really know what set the guy off. I think there's a little plot holiness there that I hadn't really thought much of. I think I kind of confused that aspect of this film with the aspect of the My Bloody Valentine, where they just stopped having the dances, and then having the dances again kind of set him off. But I guess we don't really know what set this sheriff off. It's a good thing that he had a.
Yeah, what is he doing for 40 years? Stomping ants? Like, he's not going to stop killing people. Like, what? It's not like, he's not going to be like, I'm fine for a while.
I mean, he got a taste. Maybe he just got off his meds. The meds, they didn't have good meds back then, Maybe he needed a bigger dose. And then he's just like, you know what? I'm going fishing. By fishing, I mean killing the whole town. Sometimes you got to do that. But yeah, there are something that I did notice with this watch, just watching with a little bit more of a critical lens, was that it does definitely have some dead moments. Like there's a handful of good kills and some really good set pieces, and for 1981 that were stellar uh kills and gags, like the shower thing. I think the best one's the one John talked about, the boyfriend getting the knife up through the head, and then the payback later. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. Him doing the jump scare at the end. Uh, but the throat slashing and the pool scene was very suspenseful because you never know. You know that she's gonna get it. You don't know how she's gonna get it or when she's gonna get it. You think she's just maybe gonna get drowned, but then you got the classic slasher. Uh, the people dying in the beginning with the pitchfork, right? That was kind of unusual. That was before Friday the 13th did it. Um, so yeah, I think this film has its place in history. It does drag in parts, but it has enough cool kills and enough of the mystery to kind of keep it going. I don't think it's one that has a lot of rewatch ability. Like I couldn't watch this like multiple times in the same year, like I can some things, because once you kind of remember or you don't let yourself kind of forget what the mystery is of it, after you know who's doing the killing, I'd say about 65% of the intrigue of the film's kind of gone for me. Then it's just waiting for the kills. And, these characters and the writing's not that great to kind of keep your interest. This is something to kind of have on in the background after you kind of already know what's going on. But for a first watch basis, or maybe once every 8 or 10 years, it's a good solid watch and it definitely has its place in history. But I'm curious what Kellen thought on his, I'm sure had to be his first viewing of this film.
It was. I've
If
never
it
even
wasn't,
heard
I
of
would
it.
shit my pants live
This
on
is
this podcast.
This is a yearly movie for me and my family. My mother and father
like,
and
wow.
sister. We just sit around the campfire and fire up Prowler with our pitchforks. No. 1981's The Prowler, an hour and 29 minutes, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was shocking to me too. And full disclosure, I didn't know what it was. I knew when I Googled that there was another Prowler movie from 1951. So going back to what John says, imagine my surprise and confusion when I start this movie and it happens in the 40s, and I'm like, did I click the wrong? Am I on the wrong movie? And I was watching and I stopped it and I looked back and I was like, now this has to be right. And I started again, and then critical brain, I was like, okay, this is definitely the quality of the 80s. This is not a 1950s movie film wise. So I settled in and watched it, and um, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And TJ touched on it. Um, the pacing in this movie is awful. For an hour and 29-minute film, how do you have that much dead space throughout a movie where there's actually 8 kills, according to the kill list? There's 8 kills, so there's enough spacing in this movie for stuff happening. There's just a lot of dead space. Even the scene, like John mentioned, with the groundskeeper and them staring at each other back and forth like it was a Hallmark moment. Like I just expected him to be like, "I'm actually your father," and "Oh my God, Daddy!" And then it turned into like a Western shootout with shotguns, and but it was just I kept thinking, I was like a lot of stuff has happened, but it feels like nothing has happened, and that's so weird for a movie that barely clips the hour and a half mark. Um, this guy really hated throats. Like he sawed the girl's throat in the pond. He stabbed the guy through the head, and they make sure you can see the knife come out of the bottom of his throat. I don't know if Tom Savini was just like, let me work on my throat stuff while I'm doing my practical effects. The pitchfork was stabbed through 3 different people's stomachs. Um, the cut with the neck, and then he stabbed the one woman by the bushes straight through her neck. I was like, like at that point, for somebody who hates eye stuff, I was like, maybe we get like an eye gouge or something. Like that's enough throat stuff. I'm done with the throats.
Pitchfork is the perfect weapon for eye gouging too. You get 2 at once.
Yeah, you can get them both.
And skin
That
the
was
ears.
also, and John touched on a very important point. For 1980, this movie is very brutal. Like even the first kill where he stabs that guy in the back with the pitchfork and the girl's screaming, he puts his foot and pushes it all the way through so that you know it's gone through both of them. Like that's pretty fucked up to show him literally just I just thought about like digging dirt, like you put your foot on to give a little extra to it. Like he was making sure that these people, both people were going to die pinned together.
Which actually I just had a revelation. I thought that they stole that for, I believe, is it Friday the 13th Part 2? But however, Twitch of the Death Nerve, which was a Mario Bava film in 1971, actually did it first, and most people say that they stole it from them. So
No, that movie's-
Savini would have seen it before.
Spoilers, that movie's terrible.
That movie
13
is
better.
terrible,
It's better.
but it
Yeah.
did have a good kill with the pitchfork.
Would it be more shocking than not seeing The Shining or giving Annabelle or Abigail a 1 if I told y'all that I have not seen any Friday the 13th movie other than the very first one?
No, because you've already told us
No,
that.
you've told us
105
that
times.
multiple times.
Never. And I've wanted to. I've always wanted to watch them. I just never sit down and do it. And I own them. Of the few Blu-rays that I own like the entire collection on Blu-ray. So shame on me.
There was 3 Friday the 13th this year. There's one more left.
Maybe I'll add that to my today I watched. I've got to get through all of the B movie schlock that y'all added to my list.
I noticed you're going
I'm
through a lot of recommendations.
Oh, we're putting them through the ringer. I just added Trash Humpers.
Oh
I'm getting ready to
God!
add Trash
Oh
Humpers.
God!
I watched
What?
it today, and I wanted to shoot myself in the fucking face. But it takes place in Nashville. I
I've
knew
never
John
heard of
knew
that.
it because he loves Gummo so much.
Oh God, dude, that movie's brutal.
Trash Humpers?
Yeah, same guy that did
Yes.
Gummo and Kids. It's not good.
That don't
Yeah.
sound.
We digress.
Well, surprisingly brutal. The deputy, that was one of another thing that I've noticed. Like it's such a horror trope for the police officer to be like, "Brr, you're crazy." He was with her the whole time, even with not being able to actually verify that there was somebody. He was right there with her. He was like, "Okay, no, I believe you. Let's find."
Well,
this
he
guy.
was
Let's stop stuff."
exclusively hitting on high school underage girls too.
Well, I mean, everybody has their flaws. I mean, look at our president. Anyway, but he literally he was like, "Hey, if there's a prowler, I'm right here with you. I'm gonna make sure that we catch this guy." Like usually the police officer's just like "Pfft, whatever until at least 5 people are dead. The shower scene that was brutal as well. And then to leave them there to come back later, all I could think, and this is because my brain is smooth, was she's got to be a prune by now. Her hands and feet, her poor hands and feet, which apparently is some kind of thing where it helps us grip, like it's some kind of evolutionary thing to help us grip when we're in water. I don't know what that. I don't. Anyway, I digress. This movie, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I can't say that I hated it, but I didn't love it because, like I said, there's just so much dryness in it. There's so many parts where it's just like, okay, let's get to something. And then all the stuff feels like it happens all at once. Like I feel like you could have even taken another 15 minutes out of this movie and still had a good slasher film. So all that to say, like I said, it's not bad. I can see why it would be a cult classic. It's a cool character with the World War II era look, with the little military helmet and mask. It was weird that he just pulls his mask off at the end. Like, I don't know why he just all of a sudden he's like, I can't breathe in this thing. You killed 7 people already, and now this is the one time. It was also, and it may be an early part of that horror trope where you think the killer's dead and then he pops back up and kills again. So I can see how this could have influenced future horror films because we didn't really have, a whole lot to go on in the slasher genre in the early 80s. But like y'all said, I looked it up. There was a whole bunch of horror movies in the early 80s. Like that was like the film to make because low budget, you didn't have to have big names. I mean, a lot of stars we know now have gotten their start in horror films. They are probably one of the cheapest films to make that does mainstream success usually because people love to be scared. And I mean it does its job. But again, I agree with TJ. This is not a rewatchable movie unless you're just like, oh, I kind of forgot about that movie. Let me just pop it in because I'm bored and I don't have anything else to do. And it's on Pluto for free. So yeah, the Prowler, I didn't know about it before this. I'll forget that we ever watched it or talked about it until I reminisce on some of the old episodes on YouTube, and then maybe a decade from now, it'll be on TV, and I'll be like, "That looks interesting. Why is it so slow?" But yeah, the Prowler, it was fine.
No notes on that. That's more than fair. Um, John and I have the same Blu-ray. It's Blue Underground, also, what TJ said he had. So it's just a movie, right? It's there. It's like, okay. But I think the importance of it is the Tom Savini effects. It kind of kickstarted Tom Savini into our world, and we've never looked back. So we got to appreciate it for that. Also, the best part of the movie, in my opinion, is the poster that's behind me and the one that's kind of behind Kellen. Like, it's such a unique looking poster. It's got great coloring. It's different, right? And that's my first note is like, I love the costume and I
It's a
love the
cool looking
pitchfork.
killer.
Yeah,
It
like the
looks like
costume's
it
great.
looks like it was going to be a 3D movie, like the way the poster is. It looks like it was
Yeah.
going to be the Prowler 3D.
And I love pitchforks in horror movies. I feel like they're underutilized unless there's a scarecrow involved. But it's such a good weapon. It's practical. You can stab someone further away. You could stab two eyes out at the same time if you wanted to, like Kellen was yearning for. So I like the costume, I like the poster, the artwork, and I like the pitchfork. It had a great score. It was very Friday the 13th esque. I thought to the point where I looked up to see who actually did it. It's not whatever his name is, man. For what?
Oh, man, for
Harry
Dini.
Yeah,
Manfredini.
it wasn't him. But I'm like, man, if you told me it was, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. Um,
Richard Einhorn.
yeah,
I know.
Einhorn.
Finkel and Einhorn.
What's that make
Einhorn
I
is
think
a
of? Ace
man.
Ventura.
You need a fedora now,
What was
Jay.
the
You
what
look
was the
like
kicker's
Bray
name?
Wyatt.
What was the kicker's name in Ace Ventura?
Ray Finkel.
Ray
Finkel was
Finkel.
Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel. Yeah.
Finkel, it was a man.
That's all I can think of when I look that up. So, but yeah, it's just a movie. I think it's important to watch it. I think it's I think it's a staple in the horror world. It is more of a cult classic than anything else. But yeah, the rewatchability is definitely not there to the point where I watched it in preparation for this, and I'm like, I forgot who the killer was altogether. Um, so that's the only good thing about the rewatchability is you forget because it is kind of slow. It's not paced well. Uh, the funniest part in the movie is the veteran in the wheelchair that grabs the woman as she's running by. I'm like, why did you do that? Like, is that someone's dad? And like, that's the only way they could get on set. Like, I didn't understand that. It was kind of odd. Most of my notes were just talking about his motivation, which we've already discussed that earlier. Like, he's got PTSD. He's pissed because he got the Dear John letter. Um,
I think that was supposed to be like a red herring because that was the crazy old dude that lived across that they were flashing earlier in the movie.
Yeah. So, it's fine. I didn't expect anyone to love it. Maybe a few hates, just because it is a movie that if you're not familiar with and you're watching for the first time today, I can see someone like, "What the fuck are we doing?" So I totally get that. I'm pleased with Kellen's uh, answer there. So, but yeah, it's Tom Savini is the main reason to watch this movie. Great effects. Other than that, I can't touch on anything else you guys haven't already. Um, the low budget horror part, like why they made so many. You didn't have to be an actress that everybody knew. You didn't have to be a household name. But all you had to do was be willing to take your top off. And if you were willing to take your top off, you're in horror. That's why horror has always been like a step up from softcore cheap porn. Like it's just the way it is. Like some movies are just over the top with it. Some are subtle. But yeah, if you were willing to show your boobs in the 80s, you were in a horror movie. So, all right. We'll go around and give our rankings, close up shop. I gave this one a 3. And I gave it a 3. Probably should have been a 2.5, but I'm sticking with a 3 just because the significance of it. And like I said, I do like the design of the killer. I wish like a movie like Uncle Sam or these movies that take place on the 4th of July would be something similar to this instead of like the weird zombie thing that we get. Because it's kind of terrifying. Like, and if it's dark outside, you're not going to see this motherfucker coming.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think Tom Savini also did the special effects for a similar movie like that a few years before called Death Dream. Has anybody seen that?
Oh yeah, Yes, Death Dream, the one with the soldier comes back. He's a
He comes
zombie.
back,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good one.
So he has
Another
a type.
soldier comes back as a zombie, like Uncle Sam.
I have not seen that, but I'm going to add it now.
Yeah,
It's
With,
good.
Christopher
it's good.
Reeve.
Mm-mm.
Christopher Reeve.
It's like 1970 something.
No, not it's Bob Clark movie.
It's a Bob Clark. Yeah, the guy that directed Christmas Story and Black Christmas.
Dick Clark. What's funny? It's a Christopher Reeve.
Different
But
Bob.
Christopher Reeve is the same one, right? Same movie. No.
That's Christopher
He's not in the
Reeves.
movie unless there's another guy named Christopher
Okay. Well,
Reeve.
Death Dreams, 1991 horror drama.
Oh no, it's
no, different.
1970.
Just Death Dream.
Okay, gotcha.
74.
Maybe,
But it's
yeah.
dreams plural.
No, it's just Dream.
Just
Dream,
Death
okay.
Dream.
What's the opposite of Christopher Reeve? Christopher Walken.
Wow.
I give it a 3.
Canceled.
John.
Yeah, I like it. It is slow, but I'm with you. It's innovative for kills. We did talk about. There's a murder we didn't talk about. I'm surprised you guys didn't mention it. It's the death of this guy's hair.
R.I.P.
That guy's had the worst hair ever. I think that if the sheriff had a monologue and explained a little bit, it would be better. The reveal is just a little too fast. But yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5. I like it, but it's flawed for sure.
Peach.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this 3 train running. It's a solid 3. Rewatchability is more like a 2, but for the kills, for what it means historically, the Tom Savini of it all, the mystery of the killer, if you can keep forgetting who he is, it's kind of entertaining.
Kellen.
I can't do the 3. I can't do a 3 because on a 5 scale, 3 is over halfway, and that's something with rewatchability for me. So 2.5. I mean, like everybody
fair.
said, it's got some unique kills. It was fairly brutal for the time. I mean, it's definitely probably inspired a lot of movies after it. But it's just a snooze fest at times, and that takes away from it. So yeah, 2.5.
That's fair. That puts us at a rounded up 3.
Definitely a lot of padding in this movie to get that runtime.
It's also one of those video store movies. Like back in the day, I would see it at the video store, and I would just be so intrigued by the cover art. I'm like, I need to watch that. Mom
I
said,
never
"No."
saw this on VHS. I never saw it till I saw the DVD in Best Buy.
That's funny. All right, so that puts us at a 3 for The Prowler, not Prowler from '61 or whatever Kellen tried to watch, and it's not Prowler from the Spider-Man movies.
That also came up when I tried to Google this movie. I was like,
Spider-Verse.
oh my God, this movie doesn't exist. They're messing with me. This is a late April Fool's Day prank.
Got him. All right, that's it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to wherever you listen to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Join our group on Facebook. Follow us on TikTok. And we have an Amazon Music playlist, so check that out as well. Signing off, I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ. And until next time,
Keep it spooky.